evening. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I would like a motion to approve this evening's agenda.
Madam Mayor, before we do that, staff are asking for an addition of item G3, if council would so approve. To be, just to add it to the agenda, yes. So
Motion.
Second. I move that we accept G3 to the agenda.
you approve the agenda also.
I do approve the agenda. So
Okay, motion's been made to approve the, is there support? Supported by Commissioner. Discussion?
Just a question. Does the G3 have to be posted to the public in order to be added? Just want to make sure.
It is not required.
It's not required.
No, we try to, for transparency purposes, always do that, but it's not required by any law or policy that I'm aware of.
Any other discussion?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion's. Now for the minutes of the special meeting and the regular meeting.
Madam Mayor, I move that we accept the minutes of the special meeting held June 26th and the regular meeting held July 1st as printed.
Motion was made by Commissioner Glissman. Is there support?
Support.
And supported by Commissioner Swindell. Is there discussion on that motion? Commissioner Petrie.
I have a question. We had an appointment to the Planning Commission that was on the minutes. We did not do that appointment. The minutes do not reflect that we took Janelle Racosta off. And so I would like the minutes to explain why she was on the agenda as being appointed, removed. It is not on the video either. It isn't any longer because I saw it the first night. So I just have a problem with, I want transparency for everybody.
The reason it was,
The minutes do reflect it.
Where it just shows she wasn't appointed, but it doesn't, I mean, it says who was appointed, but it doesn't say she
In
wasn't.
the approval of the agenda, on that evening, it was with the removal of that item from the agenda.
But is that written anywhere so that everybody knows? Because I still am wondering what,
In the minutes of July 1st, motion
Page
162.
I got it.
Motion 152 says approval of the agenda for July 1st, 2024 with the removal of item J-1D, appointments to boards and commissions, Planning Commission.
And so that was said at the beginning of the meeting? I don't
That is
recall
correct.
that? Okay, I don't recall.
so all those in favor then?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion's carried. Okay, now for our public comments, we have two first. Commissioner Brad Hagedorn, please come up to the podium.
Greetings from the county. I don't have a very long report, but I do have four things I'd like to cover. We held a public hearing for the CHILL grant, which is a $500,000 grant to the county to help keep people who are below the poverty line in their homes for home improvement. Economically, it makes sense, and we're keeping our citizens here in the county. We approved a request by the sheriff's office to buy an Aqua Eye and an Aqua Eye Reach handheld. In the discussions, we will be the third county in the state of Michigan to have one of these. It is a life-saving device. It goes in shallow water, and if it happens to be in deep water of one of our many lakes, that's why we're approving the purchase of the Aqua Eye Reach that can go down and use a sonar to locate bodies. I thought once you're down there for 10, 15 minutes, it's unfortunately over. As we were described by the lieutenant of the dive team, it's that first hour, and down in Oakland County, they had a teenage boy that drowned, and they found him about 33 minutes later, and they were able to save his life. We hope that obviously we don't have to use it, but in case we do, we will have it. And then we, at our June meeting, we approved for the treasurer to go out and get a request for a proposal for a GIS service. We're one of the few counties in the state of Michigan that does not have geographical mapping throughout our county. This is something that's desperately needed, and I think it'll help out our constituents, our citizens. And then lastly, we've got an election coming up. I've said it before, I'm going to say it for the last time. Please vote yes for the veterans millage. That's all that I have tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so now this is- Okay, all right. So then we'll go back to anybody else who would like to make a public comment. Your public comments are welcome. Each person may have up to 3 minutes to address your concerns, and I do have to be strict on that time limit. The city commission are not able to respond during public comments. So if your comments or your concern is not addressed, please see our city manager after the meeting, or contact the city manager's office at another time, which would be fine. So who would like to make a public comment? Karen.
I'm Karen Lackey and I live in the city of Lapeer. And I want to offer a prayer before we start.
Thank you.
Heavenly Father, in the light of Memorial Day remembrance and the celebration of our freedom and independence on the 4th of this month, and our soon coming Labor Day remembrance, we thank you, Father, for freedom, for all those who labor for our good. For freedom is very costly and sometimes involves loss. As you well know, Father, in the giving of your Son for our salvation. Whether it's protecting our families, our neighbors, our citizens, our leaders, our land, we cannot do this without your help and guidance. We ask, Father, for your hedge of protection around our leaders and their families, federally, state, and this local body of leaders, that each person would do justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with you, Father, in the spirit of unity. We thank you, Father, for our city. Thank you for our elected officials, the businesses, the churches, the families, the individuals that make our city a great place to live in. We continue to ask you for godly wisdom, clarity, and revelation for this meeting and the decisions they make for our community. We ask all that you do.
Maybe it's- No.
Good evening. I'm Janelle Racosta. I currently chair the Planning Commission. I'm here tonight because, as Melissa Petrie brought up, at last month's meeting, I was removed at the beginning of the meeting. If you remember, your city manager removed my reappointment as well as the reappointment for Commissioner Shank. I think the video had mentioned there wasn't enough information, which I'm not sure what that means, but there wasn't enough information to discuss our reappointment. At that commission meeting, you did appoint several other commissioners as well as commissioners in the same policy and procedures as you've always done. But tonight on your agenda, not only are we not on the agenda again, that my term expires August 1st, but we did not make the agenda for this evening. But under your city manager's report, he is implementing or wants to discuss a new policy on how to appoint board members and commissioners. I'm confused by this. I don't believe the city has ever had any issues reappointing someone who wants to continue to serve. As you know, we're all volunteers. We care for our city. There have been a couple topics that come up lately that I do believe a couple, maybe commissioners, our city manager hasn't been happy with. One being that as a planning commission, we have a job. The public comes up in front of us, and time after time after time, they are addressing the marijuana facilities. Whether it be the ordinance, the odor, whether it be maybe they're not in the right district. These are things that we repeatedly, we hear constantly at our meetings. So it's our job to do something about it. If we listen to them night after night and did nothing. So since January, we have been making motions, been making suggestions to kick it back to you guys in front of you as a city commission to revisit. Let's look at it. I don't know if we're gonna make any changes, but I think it's our obligation when we listen to the public that maybe we do look at, we talked about special use permits. We talked about so that we can control the odor. Maybe we don't have these buildings in the right use district. Maybe we need a more intense use district. These are just all things that we kick back to you guys. Since then, we've had zero response. So we just bring up repeatedly at our meetings, we ask for an update. What do you guys think? Where are you guys at? It's being handled. So last night it got brought up and there was some discussion. And again, we just never get any response. So we just want to work together. As a city, we need to work together. We need to talk more. We need to work more as a cohesive team because we're all volunteering our time. But that hasn't been addressed. So this evening, I'm wondering, one, we've never had any problems, even at that very meeting that we reappointed other commissioners. Why do we need a new policy to reappoint? I have served on the planning commission for 18 years,
So your time is up.
3 years as vice chair and 5 as
Thank you
chair.
for your comments.
And I'd like to continue to do so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Ann.
My name is Anne Shank. I moved to the city of Lapeer in 1980. My husband and I took on the challenge of restoring a federally registered historical landmark in the city. I've had a vested interest in the politics or the city and the progress since that time. I ran for office twice. I was appointed sometime in the 1990s by Al Gelhausen to the Lapeer 2000 project and was appointed the co-chair for the housing development subcommittee of the 2000 project to look at where the city was going and what we needed to do to target that course the way we would want it to go. He then appointed me sometime after that to the city commission, of which I have been on and committed to since that time. To demonstrate my commitment to the committee, in October of 2017, Kim called me to ask me if I was meeting because my presence was new. I said I would attend. That's the month on October 1st that my husband of 44 plus years still made it to that commission meeting because I felt about my commitment to the city. I was fortunate enough to find someone who cared about the history of the house and its history to Lapeer, that they took over the project. I chose to live in Lapeer so that I could stay on, so that I could continue to work. Thing. I am totally at a loss. I notified Tracy after I received an email from Kim about did I want to be reappointed. And then I later let Kim know that I wanted to be continued with that appointment. I don't understand. I think occasionally it's not unhealthy to have discourse, having different opinions. I think we learned from it ever got to be anything of a personal vendetta or anything else. And I don't understand why my position is suddenly being erased or whatever's happening since I expressed repeatedly an interest to stay on the planning commission. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that would like to make a public comment at this time? Okay, we will move on to the rest of our agenda, which would be the bill listing.
Mayor,
Commissioner Brady.
motion to approve the bill listing for July 15th, 2024 in the amount of $646,962.66.
Support.
Okay, motion was made by Commissioner Brady and supported by Commissioner Swindell. Is there discussion on the bill listing? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Atwood,
Yes.
Commissioner Brady,
Yes.
Commissioner Glistman,
Yes.
Commissioner Petrie,
Yes.
Commissioner Swindell.
Yes.
Motion's carried. And now on the agenda is the proclamation for recognition for Officer Craig Gormley. So I'm gonna read this and we'll go for there and then I'll step over. So, whereas Officer Craig Gormley officially began his career with the City of Lapeer Police Department on October 28th, 1998 as a part-time police reserve officer, he rose through the ranks to be promoted to patrolman in 1999 and patrolman 1 in 2004, and then promoted to detective sergeant in 2008. Promoted again to sergeant 2 in 2014 and was again promoted to sergeant 3 in 2019. And whereas Detective Sergeant Gormley, while performing his duties serving the citizens of the city of Lapeer, has received formal supervisory commendations and was named the Child Advocacy Center of the Lapeer Officer of the Year in 2012 and Investigator of the Year in 2010. Received the Lapeer City Police Award of Merit in 2007. The Lapeer City Police Department Officer of the Year in 2005. And a Lapeer County Prosecutor Notice of Appreciation in 2004, as well as several letters of thank you and appreciation for his efforts, all while safeguarding life and the innocence of the city of Lapeer. Whereas Detective Sergeant Gormley has devoted his time and effort to training and education, which includes the Dare, Michigan instructor for 192 hours, 56 hours of field training officer, 63 hours of death investigation, and 281 hours of fire investigation, and 400 hours of School of Staff and Command. And whereas Detective Sergeant Gormley has brought a vast range of skills and expertise in the aspects of police administration and a wealth of experience from proudly serving this community for over 25 years. And whereas Detective Sergeant Gormley will retire on July 24th, 2024, after having given conscientious, responsible, and professional service to the city of Lapeer, and leaves those in the city of Lapeer proud to have with him. Therefore, let it be known that Mayor Debbie Marquardt and the Lapeer City Commission wish to honor and express deep appreciation to Craig Gormley for his efforts and devotion to public service and wish him continued success in his retirement. Dated the 15th day of July, 2024. So I would like a motion for approval.
Madam Mayor, I would make a motion to adopt the proclamation and recognition of Detective Sergeant Craig Gormley as presented. Support.
Okay, motion was made by Commissioner Swindell and supported by everybody. For record, I think I heard Commissioner Glistman first. But anyway, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion's carried. To give you this proclamation and recognition for all you've done for the city of Lapeer. You have done so much. You are going to be very, very missed. For your service. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I would like a quick report, if you wouldn't mind. Jeremy, Chief Holt, on your recent certification. You guys have done through some certifications.
The
and
accreditation?
Accreditations.
Correct. So, just real quick, just for the record, I begged Craig to stay.
Yeah,
I could not
I was gonna
stay.
beg too.
And truthfully, Craig is why our department is where it's at. He has been huge part. And I'm just gonna tell everybody, I've been around a lot of cops, a lot of detectives over the years, top notch. It's a huge loss for our city. And it's just speaking from the heart. I love the guy. I've only got to work with him for about a year and a half, and he's gonna be deeply missed. So, okay, I'm done with that. Accreditation. So last week, we had our on-site inspection from